you're not alone at all in this life. Um, I just got some news, and don't get me wrong, it's not the worst thing in the world by any means, but it did kind of rattle my cage a little bit. About a week ago, I applied for a position in my school, and a position I really thought I was meant for. I really do. I really thought that's where I was supposed to be. I prayed about it and everything else, and I felt led to apply for this position, which was a big step for me. And then today I got news from my principal that I didn't get that position. Now, like I said, it kind of my cage a little bit because I really thought that's where I was supposed to be at. Um, and so I just kind of wanted to just share that with you because I'm sure there's other people that have struggles going on, and maybe you just need some words of encouragement. Maybe you just need a little extra motivation to continue, and that's what this video is about. And so, when I first got that news, like I said, it was probably about 2 hours ago. The feelings kind of just pop up, like what did I do wrong? Why didn't I get it? All those things just come. That's human nature. That's who we are as people. That's who I am. All right. I mean, that those are the first thoughts that come to my mind. Um, but here's what I've learned. And any kind of struggles that have come up in my life, there's different ways of dealing with it. Um, One of the ways of dealing with struggles is to try to go around it, right? Just try not to deal with it. And by doing that, it does not get you where you need to go. You cannot just go around your problems. You cannot just sidestep them and hope everything's going to be okay. And I learned this through all my years in this world so far. The only way to really deal with some of these problems is to go through them. And that is something that I've learned over the years. So if you have any kind of struggles and your problems, that's the first thing to keep in mind. Don't bury it. Don't just kind of put it to the side. Don't wish it away. But understand that a lot of times, in order to get past your struggles, past your problems, you have to go through them. And it's a hard thing to do. It's just such a hard thing to do. I'll give you an example here. Um, my daughter, we got in a car accident about 2 months ago, I think it was. Maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, we got in a car accident. It wasn't nothing huge in a sense of major tragedies, but it was a trauma. It really was. I mean, overall, the car was damaged to $10,000 plus, and it was a pretty serious thing. And that moment that it happened, I won't go into details exactly what happened, but the moment that it happened, I just remember hearing the glass shattering, feeling that sudden stop, feeling all of those things that you would in an accident, right? Um, and by the way, welcome to the watching this. I appreciate you watching this, and hopefully, if there's anything I can help with, let me know. Um, but that car accident happened, and that split second, all that trauma went into both of us, right? It just hit us, right? Um, and man, I'm telling you, it was nerve wracking. This happened about two months ago, and so with that said, 2 months have passed, and we were out driving yesterday, and we came to a sudden stop. And when we came to that sudden stop, that trauma all came back, and everything that we experienced previously just kind of came back up again in that split second, right? Just that sudden jolt like that. And it was amazing to see how everything we thought we kind of dealt with, it was kind of inside, just came out to the forefront the moment that we had that stop. And what I realized is, for me and my daughter, is that we were kind of just, kind of pushing to the side, and not really dealing with it too much. But I realized that's not going to solve the issue. We have to go through it. We have to deal with the feelings and the emotions. The way around your struggles, your problems is not around them, it is through. And so, with that said, me and my daughter had a brief conversation. What we realized we needed to do was we needed to go through it. We needed to get back behind the wheel. She needed to get back behind the wheel. She needed to drive more and more, because by doing that, it puts her it's a very very uncomfortable situation, but it puts her back into it again. And by doing that, it's forcing her to go through that trauma. And then there's all sorts of different things that you want to do to kind of go through it. But that's what I nerve wracking, right? And so with that said, man, I gotta tell you, my daughter, I could not be more proud of her, because many adults, she's under 18, and many adults have a hard time dealing with things, right? Many adults have a hard time dealing with trauma, dealing with experiences and struggles, and we try to put it to the side, but she's tackling it head on, right? She's tackling it head on. Hey, Cindy, no donations right now. Sorry about that. If you want to support me in which way, just go to my YouTube channel and subscribe and everything else, but don't worry about any kind of donations right now. So thank you though. Hotter than she's committed to going through the process. She's committed to it. She knows it's going to be hard. She knows it's going to be a struggle, but nonetheless, she's still going through it. And man, I could not be more proud of that young lady. It's incredible. It's incredible. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, by the way. And so with that said, perspective here, with my struggle that I'm going on right now, with the news that I didn't get the promotion I wanted, the things I've leaned on throughout all my years and dealing with things are kind of threefold here. And the first thing I always try to do when I try to deal with any kind of struggle is try to get a perspective, right? I try to really put it in perspective as far as life in general. In fact, I just came to help with that perspective. I got the news about 2 hours ago that I didn't get the promotion. All right, bothered me. I was upset. What's wrong? Why I didn't get it, and so forth. Right now, from visiting the cemetery my dad is buried at. Man, nothing like, if you want perspective, go to a cemetery where one of your loved ones is buried at, and that'll give you perspective. Because as frustrated as I didn't get that promotion, in the big picture, when I take a step back, that is such small potatoes. That's such small things. That's so insignificant compared to what real struggles are. And I think about the real struggles I had to go through in my life, and everybody has got some real struggles going on. I've had to deal with parents and loved ones passing away. I had to deal with major surgery for my children. I had to deal with some other major things going on in my life, and so the fact that I didn't get a job promotion fails in comparison to any of those major things that have happened in my life. And so with that said, that was the first thing I did to kind of help me through this little issue right now, is put in perspective. And so when I went and visited my father's gravesite here just a few minutes ago, I I thought about them. He passed away about 5 years. It's gone by so fast. Passed away about 5 years ago. And then I remember that moment of when he passed away. That is real trauma. That is life-changing things right there, right? That is life-changing. That is a huge one. And when you're going through struggles in your life, same thing. I mean, put it in perspective. We all have seasons in our life. I'm about 51 years old now, and I'm in the season right now where a lot of people I know and so forth are passing away. That's just because the season I'm in my life that I'm in right now. And so knowing that that what season of life you're in kind of puts things in somewhat of perspective. But then with my father passing away 5-something years ago, that definitely broke me down. I mean, how could it not, right? And that was a hard thing to deal with. But I remember when my father passed away and I was going through that grief process, same things applied. I put it in perspective. And the perspective is that, yes, this is something real traumatic. This is something real horrible. But then connected with that is I had a sense of gratitude. And so that's kind of like the second thing, that a phase I got to go through. I try to deal with things. The first one is perspective. Is this really a problem in the big scheme of life, right? I mean, you think about this. Oh my gosh. I teach United States history is what I teach. And I heard someone say this before, and it's so true. 150 years ago, you could not take a warm shower. Can you think about that? I mean, something we take for granted so easily now, hot shower, they didn't have 150 years ago. And and the richest, most powerful people, 1,000 years ago, kings and queens, the luxury, the day-to-day life luxuries they had fell in comparison to what we experience now. Right? The fact that we have electricity, running water, the sewer system, all these things, they didn't have that hundreds of years ago. So the fact that we have that now, man, that is a perspective. And the connect to that is that sense of gratitude. I am thankful that I'm even here to be alive. That is an incredible thing, life itself. And the fact that I'm alive, the fact that I get to experience life, the hardships as well as the blessings, I'm grateful for that. And so when my father passed away 5 something years ago, I remember, as to be expected, I was extremely sad, depressed, grief, and everything that's going on. But when I went to the next phase, I became grateful. Grateful for the time that I had with my father. Grateful for the lessons that he taught. The grateful fact I even had a dad, right? There's so many young men out there today that don't even have a father. Grateful for the memories. Grateful for the experiences. Grateful for every moment that I had with my father, good and bad. Grateful that I got to at least experience those with him. And it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do when you're going through pain and suffering, is that gratitude. But if you can get to that level where not only do you have a perspective of how this falls in the big picture of life, but you also have the gratitude that you're thankful for what you have, that's powerful. And it helps me get through some hard times. It really helps me get through some hard times. And then the last part of it that helps me through things is just the acceptance, right? So once again, I didn't get the job promotion. I found out there today. And so there was a moment where I was frustrated, but then I quickly, kind of put that perspective as that's small compared to all of, the big things in life that could go wrong or have. And then I find the sense of gratitude. The fact that I at least have a job. Oh my gosh, there's some people that don't even have a job. The fact that I have a job that I love, teaching. That's another huge thing to be grateful for. The family that I have, an incredible, supportive, loving wife, and some incredible kids. I'm so grateful for that as well, right? So these are all things that I am extremely grateful for. And then the last thing is the acceptance. And that's where I'm at right now, accepting the fact that this is just how things unfolded. We like to think that we're in control in life, and I do, trust me, I'm one of those guys. If you ever come to my classroom, I see my live, I'm planning things out and everything else. And so I understand all about trying to feel that security and sense security and the control and all that. And that's definitely a good sense for me to have. But when it really breaks down to it, we are so not in control of what happens in our life, what unfolds in our life. One moment things are going great, the next moment everything could change just like that, and you have no control of it. I think about that every time I'm driving. I have no control of the people around me, right? As far as the economy, I have no control over the economy and everything else. And so the acceptance, if you could get to a point where you accept what's going on. Now, that's not to say you don't learn from it. It's not to say you don't try to get better. It's not to say that you don't, try to improve things, whatever else. But acceptance, knowing that there's certain things you cannot control that are out of your control. And if you can accept that, I mean, that is a great gift to have. For me, I've learned to accept that I guess we're gonna call it God's will, right? I have a friend that I have so much respect for. Yeah, he's a Christian, and he's always, he we he always had a saying, "Do you really believe what you say you believe?" Right? Do you really believe what you say you believe? And that's always stuck with me. That saying, because we all talk about certain things, right? We all talk about certain beliefs we have and things that we should change and everything else, but it's not till you see someone's actions that you really understand they really believe what they say you believe. And he's always talking about God's will. He's always talking about how he's putting his faith in God, and whatever God has for him, he's going to accept. And that's easy to say, right? That's so easy to say, and we all say stuff like that, whether you're religious or not. You say stuff like that, the universe and what it might be. But he's gone through something here recently, and when he was going through his experience recently, he basically responded, I am sad and frustrated, and all this is going on, but whatever God has for you, I accept it. Whatever, and it was a serious thing, really serious thing, but whatever it is, he's going to accept it. And to put that out there, to share his faith like that, God, it's so impactful. It's so impactful. And so for me, acceptance, that's one of the things I'm trying to work. I'm constantly trying to work on that. But I'm getting better as the years going on. I'm accepting God's will. I'm accepting how it is, right? I know there's only so much I can control. And that is the biggest part is, and I tell this to my kids, my three kids, regarding schooling, regarding life, regarding everything else. I even share this with my students. I say, there's only so much you can do. You put the effort in, you put the energy in, you invest time into it, you improve on getting better, you do what is right. All right, but what you trust the process, as I say, you trust the process. You put all your effort into it, you put it all on the table. But whatever the outcome is, you got to learn to accept it. All you can do is your best. All you can do is what you're able to do, your best. That's it. That's it. Whatever, how you look at that life, be it in a job, if I'm a teacher, I can do the best I can at becoming a teacher. But ultimately, whether kids learn or not, it's kind of out of my control more often than not, right? In life, if you're working out and your goal is to gain muscle and lose weight, right? There's only so much you can do. You can trust the process. You can put the effort in, count the calories, do the exercises. But ultimately, you got to learn to accept the outcome. There's only so much we can control. Trust the process. And so for me, trusting the process is accepting the outcome, accepting what it is. So this job promotion that I was hoping to get and that I did not get, as frustrated as I was at first, I'm learning, once you get put in perspective, it's not that big of a deal in the overall scheme of life, right? I'm grateful for the fact that at least I had the opportunity to apply for that position. I'm grateful that I have a job. I'm grateful that I'm able to do something I love to do. But the last part is the acceptance, and I accept the outcome, right? I may not necessarily 100% agree with it, right? I don't think it's the best thing because I thought it was ideal for that thing, but I accept it because there's only so much I can control, and I can honestly say that I am grateful for the opportunity I even had to apply for the job. So acceptance is the last part. And depending upon what is really going on in your life, that can be so hard to do. It can be so hard to do. I know it's hard for me, especially with the major things that happen in my life, deaths, major illnesses, and all those things. It's hard to accept the outcome. But if you can get to that point, it becomes so powerful because all you got to focus on then is what you can do. All you got to focus on is being the best version of yourself. All you can focus on is trying to do impact what you can impact. But the rest of it, you ultimately kind of have to give it up to God, the universe, or whatever else, and then accept the outcome of it. Once again, it doesn't mean that you don't try to get better and do improve and learn all that, but there's only so much that we can control. So I just wanted to kind of just do a quick recording here, just kind of to share my thoughts and feelings, kind of get them out there. I appreciate you tuning in. And if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out on YouTube. You can look me up. That's no problem at all. But with that said, I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day.